Hello and welcome. I'm Watson Williams, and you're listening to Cryptic Creations, where we bring you the not-so-obvious. Today we're going to talk about UFO disclosure in the context of religion. Now, to start our conversation, we're going to say that secrecy is mainly used for national security purposes. Whenever modern man was first realizing that the UFO phenomenon was something that had to be dealt with on a regular basis, they initially went into, damage mode, or not really damage mode, but they wanted to know about it. We had Project Blue Book, etc. But historically, even going back to the Roswell event, which may have actually been one of the first known downing and retrieval missions, they've been keeping quiet on what they know. They don't want the public to know because of national security, because you have competing countries like Russia and America. We got into it after right after World War II. We entered the Cold War, and there was this sense that we had to keep quiet about what we knew in order to, keep a military and a technological and a psychological edge over our enemies. And that has sort of evolved over time. But we also have one of the other main motivations for UFO secrecy has to do with stability, social stability, namely with organized religions and how they are social stabilizers in their own way. They help to maintain various status quos that economists come to depend on and take for granted, and these structures, and so religions like Christianity, they don't really say anything about other life forms or other worlds, and the fear is that UFO disclosure and the disclosure of alien life would disrupt organized religion so much that you would have total chaos, and then they could do a power grab. I mean, maybe they think that, and that's just it. Everything is so calculated at the higher levels of government now, and especially the more technology we have and everything, and the more there is to risk and to lose, they game out everything that they're going to tell us, and try and figure out the best way to tell us. And as Dr. Stephen Greer seems to believe, they're trying to time it just right so that they can make the public buy the idea that the aliens are hostile, and that therefore we need to have a space war and need to further authorize power and authority and legitimacy to the government. And basically in an attempt to continue this sort of like self-fulfilling usefulness that the government always seems to be after. And but we don't even need the government. I mean, they're trying to break away. That's the real reason for the secrecy. The three main reasons that I've come up with for UFO secrecy are national security, social stability, and to facilitate the breakaway civilization or civilizations, because I believe that there's like an American / EU breakaway, and then there's like a Chinese breakaway, possibly a Russian breakaway as well, and there was already a German breakaway civilization that went down to the South Pole at the end of World War II, and basically, so what we're dealing with is a very complex, dynamic situation where, people who know about the UFO reality, they get frustrated and they wonder like why the government is dragging their heels. And yeah, a lot of it is about national security, but it really just gets down to facilitating them breaking away and being able to get control of everything, or just hoard the technology, and then they keep the wheels and the gears greased up with usury and keep us working and dumb and relatively happy and oblivious to what's going on, and all the while religion, they say, would totally disappear. But that's not true, because if disclosure did happen, the day that disclosure happens is the day that I shrug my shoulders, or the day that I breathe a sigh of relief. But it's not the day where my world is shattered and changed. And that's the key for defusing disclosure, is you have to have incorporated the knowledge and the understanding of extraterrestrial life and consciousness throughout the universe and in nature, in order to come to a point where whenever you turn on the TV and you see the technology and the bodies and the full admission of downing and the downing and retrieval program, and the secret space program, and all the other programs that that you just sort of laugh to yourself because you already knew it in your heart and in your gut that's what was going on. I mean, you have to find peace with it within yourself. But more than that, or just furthermore, actually, some analysts believe that Christianity, for instance, would totally disappear with UFO disclosure, but I completely disagree on the grounds of my ESR, eternal self-realization argument, that's based on probability theory, the Borel-Cantelli-Lima. We construct an argument for infinitely manifested deity, and whenever you know things like this, it can just throw them down like as a tool, like as a maneuver in an argument. It's like, boom, ESR, no, like God, Jesus is infinitely manifested. Then you're like, oh, well, I never thought of it that way. And you're like, yeah, I know you didn't. That's why I'm here, to help you. Like, Christianity and Islam, Judaism, Hindu, a little bit to a less extent because it's more advanced, like Hinduism and Buddhism. But, I mean, they're all advanced in their own ways, but and have shortcomings and advantages, but they all come short of what the truth is. And But Christianity isn't going to just disappear. And what will end up happening is someone or some people will get prophetic. Things, we're entering what we think is an end times, but it's not the end times, it's just a transition time. And we all need to get comfortable with this stuff. And the prophetic will write New Testaments, and there will be future councils, religious councils, and in which New Testaments will be ratified, potentially even like a New Testament that puts a keystone on top of all the world's religions and combines them together into one religion, a more peaceful religion, because I can see disclosure bringing world peace, and you really have to think what the motivation is to keep up with the secrecy whenever it's likely to bring world peace. That is greed. That is concentration of power. And but at the same time, the breakaway is a Pandora's box. Like, it's not going to go away, and we have to evolve with it. Like, we all have to break away in order to break away together, so that as few people and as few elements and parts of humanity and culture and history, as few as possible, are left behind. But how do we get there? Like, we must evolve. We must evolve in our own lives, in our habits, in the way that we see the world. And again, this peacefulness that can come from disclosure. Like, they're killing Muslims, or if it's the Crusades, or the Islam into India, or the British Empire around the world, the Portuguese and the Jews and just everybody together, like, all the conflict and all the mutual exclusion principle, all of the mutual exclusion principles that we all have, like, peace can be attained if we're not just looking at the other people, the other group, and just saying, oh, we have to kill them because they don't believe the way that we do. Well, if UFO disclosure comes out, it makes everybody, it's a taming effect, actually, and not so chaotic, I think, because we have chaos anyway. The system is chaotic, but it's definitely a disruptive, but it's an elevating thing. But they've made it esoteric, like, knowledge of the ET reality is at this point in time esoteric. We're living in a time of soft disclosure, and it's like the knowledge is there, but you have to seek it, and it still has ridicule. There's powerful mind control going on, and through ridicule and trivialization of the subject in Hollywood and media, it just gets perpetuated. Oh, ha ha ha, little green men. Yeah, right. Well, but it all falls away. All these beliefs these old belief systems, they either have to have a new come to a new understanding, or they just can't continue. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Disclosure becomes a formality whenever you incorporate the understanding into your own belief system. And all right, that is going to do it. I appreciate your time. Thank you for listening. Let's start a dialogue, and come back anytime. I'll be back soon myself, and I don't know what I'll be talking about yet, but hopefully it'll be something that you'll find interesting. Thank you.